Alright guys, so we are back and now we are going to get into a different request. We did the get request already in the other video, the video prior to this, and if you by any chance end up here right now and you haven't caught up with everything else behind us, prior to this video, I suggest you go back and read it. Otherwise a lot of the stuff is not going to really make a whole lot of sense unless you already know your way around React. But I'm just going to go ahead and go on from here. So the deleting request is actually a pretty easy request to do, and all you have to do is basically identify which item you want to request, which by a unique identifier. And we did that before. We did it over here so that it changes the state by filtering. Meaning returning back to me all of the IDs, all of the tasks with the ID that is not equal to the one that I clicked on. So if I clicked on the ID 4, give me all of them except ID 4, and that basically removes from the UI, all of them, removes from the UI the one that I clicked on, right? Now that's just the view, that's just the UI part. Now we actually need to remove it from the UI itself. But before we move on to that part, we want to employ a different line of security for our system here, because anytime you deal with something that has to do with deletion or deleting anything at all, you have to be very careful not to just ambiguously let people delete anything they want, because they may not be able to get it back ever again. So whenever you do anything like that, you kind of have to have the ground open for the case that they may accidentally do it. So the best way to do that is whenever you have a click, like in this click right here, instead of automatically doing that, maybe have a modal window, some kind of pop-up that says, are you sure you want to delete this? Okay, because especially when these two items are so close, maybe he meant to do this instead of deleting that. So we don't want to do that, right? So in order to do this, we're going to implement Bootstrap modal window. However, I want to also introduce a different library that is kind of like an additional layer on top of Bootstrap that is called React Bootstrap, and that is going to be a very helpful library to know and get familiar with, because it will make things a lot much easier for you guys. Okay, so if you notice over here, there's a beta. Actually, I haven't really used. Oh, that is the one so that is the one that I was using. All right, cool. So this one over here that we're looking at right now is in beta, and it's using Bootstrap 5.1, which is the actual Bootstrap that we are using. So everything should work pretty seamlessly, and we'll see how it works out. I actually haven't used it in an application that already has Bootstrap. Usually I download both of them together, but this one already should have Bootstrap, so it should be fine. So let's go to the getting started here, and it should tell you what you need to do. So basically an npm install React Bootstrap and add next Bootstrap, add next right here. Don't worry about this part right here. It says Bootstrap 5.1 because you already have it. Okay, so we're just gonna grab this one right here, we're gonna copy that, and we're gonna put that in another screen. Now I have my server running in here and I have my application running in here, so I'm actually going to make this a little smaller here to make space, right? And in here I'm going to add another bash window. Which one is that? The one in the middle. So it's this one. All right, so I'm gonna open this back up again, and then in here is where I'm going to paste my npm install. That way this one is my stuff for installing and stuff like that. This one I want to continuously keep open, and this one is the one for my application, for my UI. So I'm gonna go ahead, React Bootstrap add next, and hit enter. I probably should have saved it, but not a big deal. And we're gonna give it a minute. What do I do every time I upload something, I install something? I go to my package JSON. Alright, and let me see, React Bootstrap, there it is right there. So like I said, you know, you don't have to really keep checking on your package JSON all the time, but it just helps to be able to, you know, to look at stuff like this all the time, and you know, it's always a good idea to, you know, keep an eye on it. Alright, so let's close it because we already got it. Alright, and let's bring this back together again, so that way you can see what's being put in here. Now, before I go ahead and add this stuff here, this is going to be a modal window that I'm going to be able to use in other places. So it makes sense for it to be done as a component level, right? As a reusable component with props and things like that. So that way I can change the title whenever, you know, whatever title I want. I can change the content, and then I can use it in different places, but just basically change the actual content of it. So what I would do here is I would just open a new component here, and this one is just going to be confirm modal. Yep, sure. Confirm modal.js. Yes. So I could have just called it modal and then just use it for confirm, or use it for maybe information or modal, or for anything else. But I think I'm going to keep, it's better to keep the confirmation modals separated from the other regular modals, because this one will probably be just a small one, where the other ones could possibly have some scrolling and all that stuff. And so to keep those two separate, but the confirmation modal will be basically the same on everywhere else, but the stuff inside it will change, but they will be used for the same purpose in everywhere you use it. If that makes any sense. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a component in here. Okay, and we're going to save it. Okay, so now that that's created, we need to go to the application that we just downloaded. Let's bring it back over here, and let's look at a components. Well, before we actually go there, it tells you here how to import your components. So just because you imported the library doesn't mean that you're ready to use it. You still have to import which one you actually want to use. So there's you can import it like this directly from the file that it's going to be using it from, or you can import it like this and then import the entire library. This is less ideally, because although you are importing that particular component only from the entire library, you're still making a call to the entire library. Here you're making a call to that component to only this part of the library. It's a little faster, just a tiny bit. So I'm gonna go ahead first, and I'm gonna grab this right here, and I'm gonna go to my application, and I'm going to put that in there, but I am going to instead call it modal, yeah, modal, and that's gonna come from modal. Right, now if you have any doubts as to where this is coming from or whatever, you can always do this. Import modal, and it will give you kind of like this list right here, and then you see where it says React Bootstrap modal. If you click on that, it will tell you exactly where it is. So this one is the one, the less ideal one. This is the one that came, you know, you have to download the entire library. So this one should be fine. If it doesn't work, we'll put the other one. Okay. All right. So now we are gonna go to where did I put my screen? Oh, it's right behind it. All right, we're gonna go to components, and we're gonna look for the component that we need to add, right? The modal window. We're gonna go to here, and we're gonna look for this one here, the launch demo modal. It's gonna look like that. All right, and we're gonna grab the actual modal, and we're going to replace it with this. And we're gonna do that there. Yep. All right, so all that is fine. Yep. And the next thing, oh, okay, I see here that we have a button here that we need to also add. So I'm just going to copy and paste that, and then I'm gonna click on that, Control D, and button. All right, so now I have the button and the modal. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to use it exactly the way it's shown here. All right, so I have a couple of properties here. I have a show property and a handle close property, right? So I'm just like we've done before. I'm going to pass those show and handle close. That's not right. Copy, handle close. All right, so I'm passing these properties to show it and to handle close. Another thing that I want to do before I get too far is this close button right here. Okay, that's already actually using handle close. That's good. And then this save here, which all it does right now is close it. We'll get to that. We'll get to that part in a second. All right, so no, actually, you know what? I am going to do it now. So this on click save changes. I'm gonna make it so that it's handle save. Whoa. Handle save. There you go. Because that's going to actually do something different than closing the modal window, right? So I'm gonna add it to my prop here. Now I can use it at the top. All right, the next thing I got is the modal heading right here, which obviously that's going to be a title. So I'm gonna add title, and I'm gonna put that in there as well. And then here is the body, which is going to be a content. I'm gonna name it content. I'm gonna add that property there as well, content. I got these props here. I haven't done any props default or prop types in a while, but I'm only not doing that because I want to move a little faster, okay? If you haven't done any prop types or prop defaults or anything like that, please go back and refactor your code a little bit and add some prop security, okay? Alright, so this is just going to say close is fine, and that's fine, I guess. This variant, I think what it does is it calls the color, the background color. So it's probably gonna make it the secondary color and the primary color, which is fine. And save changes, well, so the save changes here, we're gonna go ahead and say remove or delete, because this one is gonna be called, actually, you know what? How about button name? How about we actually have that to be a property, because we don't know what we want to call it, right? We're going to use it. In this case, it's going to be it could be removed, but in other confirmation modals, it's probably going to be save it, right? So let's give that a chance. Let's and then this variant right here, in this case, because I'm gonna name that color, because we want this one to be a red button because it's going to delete something, so we want it to be red. But in other confirm models, it may actually be the primary color, because if it's safe, it shouldn't be red. So that's another thing that we have to keep in mind and keep the color. All right, so we got a lot going on here, right? I'm gonna go ahead and save this, and now I'm going to use it. So we're going to use this at the task level, right? Because that's where we're actually catching this on click. All right, go ahead and save, put that away. So we want to wire it to this this icon right here, right? We want to make sure that when we click that, instead of deleting it, it opens the modal instead. Then the modal is the one that's going to do the deletion, okay? So in order to do that, we need to navigate to that task. So we're gonna go ahead and close this tasks here, and the home, I don't think I need to do anything here for now. So I'm gonna close that for now. I'm just gonna work with my task and my confirm modal. So I'm gonna come over here to my task, and the first thing I'm going to do, obviously, so I can work with it, is going to be to import my confirmation, my confirm modal. Why it didn't? My confirm modal, which is not being. That's weird. All right, let me Let me see if maybe it's because I don't have this into JavaScript. Save this, and now let's do it again. Import confirm. Oh, there it is. All right, cool. So now that I have my confirmation model already there, I'm gonna go ahead and import it, and let's see. So this is the parent li there, right? So if I put it outside it, then I'm gonna have to have another wrapping div or fragment or something. So I'm just gonna put it in here instead, and don't worry about thinking that it will show like a bunch of confirmation models on top of at the bottom of each li or something like that, because remember, these are going to be programmatically shown. They're gonna only be shown if this is being clicked. So it's not, you're not gonna have a bunch of modals show up at the same time. Okay, it's gonna be only one at a time. And now we need to bring in a lot of basically all of the props that we declare. So we declare a bunch of these properties here. So I'm gonna just go ahead, just for make it faster, I'm gonna copy all of these properties, and then I'm gonna come over here and I'm going to paste them. And now for every comma, I'm basically going to create just a placeholder for now. So I'm going to say that there, and then this handle close is, I'm gonna name it also handle close for now, and this handle save, here we go, name it handle save, and then these right here, now I can be a little bit more specific. Earned content, but name and color. All right, cool. So what's gonna be my title for this thing, right? It's gonna be delete task. So that's what I wanted to say on the top. And this one, the content is gonna be, are you sure you want to delete this task without the typos? And then the button name is going to say delete. I wanted to say delete, and the variant is going to be danger because I want it to be a red color. So now we need to basically wire up these things right here, right? So this show here, what it does is basically it tells you the state, whether it's open or it's closed, right? So I just gave you a hint. So what we need to do is we need to bring in our useState, import useState from React, and then we need to create inside of our component here, we need to create a state. Basically, we're gonna name it is open and set is open. That's gonna be equals to useState, but it's going to be initially false, right? So now I can go ahead and make this is open my show, so it's going to be shown automatically as false. And now we need to make a couple of transformations in here. If you need help knowing what I'm doing, if you go back to where we were here, you can see that I'm basically already doing that stuff here. So I'm actually going to grab these right here, and I'm gonna just save some clicking and typing and stuff. And you see this set, oops, I'm gonna put that as a set is open. That's gonna be my transformation of the state. There you go. And my handle close, which is this one, and my handle save. So my handle close, I'm gonna say handle close. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at handle close. Yeah, handle close is fine. All right, so basically what I'm doing here is I'm setting a function that is going to say set the state open to false, right? To keep it false, basically. That way it'll be closed. And then this one, handle show, is going to do the same thing but in reverse. It's going to set it to true. Okay, so who is the one that is going to be setting things to true? The icons, right? The delete icons. So this guy right here would now take place in here inside this delete. It's not going to delete it, but instead it's going to, I'm going to copy this. Instead it's going to show it. And now what I just cut out is going to end up in here instead, because this handle safe is now going to perform that action. You see what I did, right? I made this, the action that was originally on the icon, just basically show the confirm modal, and then I made this handle save button, which is the one that is going to show me, you know, it's going to save when you hit save. When you hit delete, is the one that is going to fire the actual deletion. So I'm going to go ahead and save that, and it's compiling. Everything's runs good, fingers crossed. We're going to run this, and let's see, when I click on it, it's going to say delete task, just like we said. Are you sure you want to delete this task? Sure. Close. If I hit close, it's just going to go away. Nothing got deleted. But if I hit delete, then it goes away. So it works. I don't like that the danger color didn't get confirmed. So I'm going to add it. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to create, and the SAS file that we did before, I'm going to create a new one here, call it danger, and this one is going to be maybe that. All right, and I'm going to come over here and create a new function, and the primary, okay, so the key is going to be danger, and that's fine, and that's fine. Everything is fine. I don't have to add it anywhere else. All right, cool. I'm gonna save that. It's gonna do its thing. Now let's see what it does now. There you go. Now I just set my danger. If you can see, it's not persistent. If I refresh it, give it to me. There you go. It's still there because we haven't done the actual deletion from the API. I just wanted to show you what that will look like. Let me go ahead and close this part here. I just wanted to show you how to do that extra layer of security. Now we're going to go ahead and actually turn this thing into an API call for the delete. So we go up to our home page again, where we're doing the delete right there, and we're going to do the actual deletion for the API call. All right, so this one is going to be, we're going to turn this delete task here into an async call, okay, an asynchronous call. However, we don't need to do any async await because we're not getting any data back. All we're really doing is just basically re-fetching the API minus the ID. So so we're going to go ahead and await fetch. We're gonna make another call basically. Since we're not getting any data back, that's why we don't need to do any async await like we did here, where we had to do another async outside of the use effect and all that stuff. So inside of the fetch, we're going to bring in, let me grab it from here, this API here, right? The API that we're working with. We're gonna put that in there, but this time we're gonna add a little piece to it. We're gonna add the ID to it as well. Okay, so now we're going to go look for in the API with the endpoint task, right? Just in case you have different API endpoints, and then we're gonna look for that ID at the end of it. All right, and then the last thing that we need to add to this to make it final is we're gonna add another parameter to this, which is going to be the method parameter, and that's going to be basically which kind of call you're going to make, which is going to be a delete call, and everything else will be fine because we still want to make sure that we remove it from the UI. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Everything is going to run, and now if we look at what's going on here, I'm going to go ahead and delete the do homework here. I create this, and then I'm going to say delete, yes, delete it. And now if I refresh, it's not there anymore. If you look at your server right here, you can see that there was a get request every time that I refreshed, and then there was a delete request that created that. And if you go inspect the actual API, the DB-JSON, you can see that the last one was removed from the API itself. So I can continue to do all this and then eventually end up deleting all of this stuff right here. So let's not get too hasty, because I don't want to have to rewrite this. However, when we do create a new piece of state, when we do get to the next lesson, we're gonna be able to create a piece of API, a piece of state to add to the API, which is going to be the persistent creation of a new task that is going to stay, and then it's going to be almost complete in the CRUD system. All right, well, I'll see you guys in the next one.